So let's see.
You gonna call it to order now?
Now we're going to call it to order. Well, we've been in disorder for a while, so let's call it to order. And we have everyone here but Ken. And I didn't see minutes from the previous meeting, and certainly didn't read through the watch the hour plus video again with footnotes and other interesting comments. So we didn't really have minutes from the meeting, right?
No, not really, because the only thing we truly discussed was the budget.
Budget, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, not sure how to handle this. We don't have minutes in terms of how we approve the minutes, but I think the result is clearly what the budget was, and the some of the assorted discussions. So I guess we vote to approve the minutes sort of based on our memories of what was read, or so not a perfect situation, but I don't want to hold up the meeting for that, because I do think that that really the minutes at the end of the day is what came up as the budget.
Right.
Certainly there were a number of comments that we'd made about individual things, such as wanting to have a secretary, since we had one in the budget. That we recognized that there were going to be increases caused by a variety of things out of our control for the building, and other discussions. But I don't think we would find there being, if we had minutes, that there would be any material difference in what we saw versus of what we said versus what we would see in print. If everyone's comfortable with that, I'd like to move on, but if anybody wants to hold off on that, we could approve these minutes next meeting if we want, and I'll promise to watch the videotape, which I think would probably be painful.
That's a long.
It would probably be no faster way to lose the membership of this board.
I think we should just approve it, and
yeah, I do too.
Take our chances and
take our chances.
Right.
Move forward.
Right.
Had enough of this budget.
Yeah. And enough of this process, really.
Yeah, right.
So let's just move right on to the director's report. Jen, if you have anything you want to
Yes,
talk about?
I have to say, so I was very concerned about a leak in the roof. And it seems that the stains that were there are not necessarily from the roof itself, but from there's a window that had a whole bunch of rotten wood on it. And so when the rain came in, it was leaking down and creating a stain on the ceiling in the bathroom.
This is in what floor?
This is the window was second story, and it had a lot of rotten wood and
I got that. But the damage is occurring on the second floor.
It was occurring on the first floor, so it was coming down in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and when Jim Mocher painted, he noticed that there was a lot of rotten boards and things, and he replaced all of that. And since then, it hasn't leaked. Since it's been raining these today, especially. Excuse me. I have not noticed any new staining. The only new staining is right above on the hatch where the cupola is. So I am of the opinion that staining and that precipitation is coming in through the cupola. So I spoke with Patrick today, and we have a good solution for that, which is to just kind of seal the cupola from the inside so that the weather from outside cannot come in. And that'll be a really cheap and easy fix. We're going to try to have some of the guys from town do it for us if they can. And hopefully that will take care of that leak without.
Wait, but the leaks,
and
you're talking two separate leaks, because Is
Yes.
the second floor bathroom not where the cupola is?
Correct. Correct.
Okay, so you now
So the-
believe that whatever damage was created by the second floor bathroom leak,
No, it was the
There.
second floor window leak that was actually coming into the first floor bathroom and causing staining on the ceiling.
okay,
Yeah,
we believe that's been
that was
repaired.
one. Yes,
That's the
because,
first one.
yeah,
We were talking
correct.
about was second floor window rotted, leaking into the first floor bathroom.
Bathroom, right, on the ceiling.
So
And then
we
the
think that
second,
wait, let's finish that.
Mhm.
So we think that that's repaired,
yes,
but we'll keep an eye on that.
Mhm.
And at some point, we'll have to repaint where there's been damage.
yes.
Okay.
And the other leak was coming in on the ceiling, but around the hatch
Right.
on the second floor, and that's directly above the cupola. So
Directly beneath the cupola.
yeah, directly beneath the cupola. So if you open that hatch, I mean, you have a perfect view of the interior of the cupola. So a quick and easy and cheap and effective way to seal the cupola without having to deal with any historical issues is to seal it from the interior. That way, all of that, that rain and snow that blows in and causes all that, can't do that anymore.
Has any damage previously to, I don't know, a couple of months ago? I don't know how long, the cupola leak became apparent recently?
Since I was there, I don't know how long it had been leaking before that.
Yeah, okay.
Because there are several stains. So it's like, you see one and then it
Yeah.
dries and then another. So there's a lot of,
I think at some point in the previous meeting, we talked about that.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
it's up to the town to maintain the building. So that sounds like a good result, good solution.
Mhm.
And, they don't need our approval on that. They should just go forward and do it.
yep.
So you don't need the bottom line is we don't need a new roof.
No, I don't need to be stressed about a roof right now. Now, it is budgeted for next year already. That's what Linda had budgeted.
Yeah, we had approved that in the previous
And
budget.
it's in hours as well, for that this is something that's imminent. So so they're aware.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Good.
Any other stuff from your point of view, director report type stuff?
Actually, Geraldine and I had our first training with the My Senior Center app. Actually, I'm very familiar with it, so I've already been using it. And I'm starting to schedule all of the programs and people into it. So over the last couple of weeks, I've done a tremendous amount of data entry. And for the most part, everybody in town who is 55 and older, by name, that lives in this town is in that system. So that's about 1,000 people.
So, but that system so we just took that off of some roles that we have. Or
Voter registration list I got from
But
town
do people need to opt in? I mean, in other words,
Yeah.
you start reaching out to people, and are you going to then
Yes.
offer people the opportunity to opt out? If they don't opt in, they have to be allowed to opt
Mhm.
out, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely. They can be inactive or active. And what this is for, this is also, to show how many people are in town and to help me with my statistics. But I'm going to have a basic form that somebody can fill out with information that I need for the system. And once they are all set, they can be an official member. They get a key fob and they can sign into programs right there when you walk in. The little screen, the touch screen is already set up. I had Ken Leskowski from Wirelink. He lives right on Booth. He came in this week. He put in 2 outlets for me. One being right behind the buffet where this machine is going to sit. And so it's pretty much set up and running. And
Great.
yeah.
So the fobs and all the support materials are all covered in that price that we had approved earlier.
Yep.
Wonderful. That's great.
Good. That's exciting.
Very.
How have things been in general in the building? Have you been seeing good, what's going on?
We've seen, it's just a regular group of characters. I
I think some of these people in this meeting are characters.
some are coming back. And it's like a post-COVID situation all over again. People are starting to stick their toe in the water, which is great. People are loving the massage therapist who's there. We are currently booked through into March. We only have
Wow.
appointments left for March.
Great.
She's going to be there every single Monday. And she's fantastic. And she's a great little asset to our team. And her prices can't be beat. And she's just really good at what she does. And so that's a really good, successful program that we've started. And it's just going to continue to get better from there. We've had a logo contest and a photography contest, and we're deciding now which ones will win out. And that was really successful. And the winners.
How many people participated?
I had 7 people participate in the logo,
Uh-huh.
and I had 8 people participate in the photography
Great,
contest.
that is good.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So that's really good. And we've had some people start to come back that haven't been here for a while, and that's good to see. And it's just about, reaching the younger senior. And I think, I do have a pretty good plan in place. We are talking, Jimmy and I were talking today about getting the building ready for fiber optic and for new technologies. And that's really great. He has the setup almost completely ready to bring to the senior center so that we can take all of our programs to a hybrid profile or a hybrid style. And that means that anything that we can do in terms of lunch and learns and lectures and exercise programs, you can either attend in person or you can attend at home. And I've had several people call and ask if we're going to have a hybrid program, and pretty soon we will.
Oh, great.
Is that coming out? That's coming out of this year's budget, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Because I know we put some more technology in next year's budget.
Yes, and we're going to need it.
Well, if you're doing
Yeah.
the hardware now.
Yeah. And it's really, we're gonna try to revolutionize the place and get it ready for the boomers to come in and enjoy it. So
Oh,
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
nice to see, it was nice to see 2 Marchand players back yesterday. It
Yep.
was kind of like the old days.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I do think one of the things, technology is great. And I do believe that it's, you want to be prepared to be as robust as you can be.
Mhm.
But
For the people that
at
want
the
it.
same time, we really want people to be physically there.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. We have
I certainly see in the workplace when people are, and even like our board, right? When we start getting onto the Zoom world, it does make things easier. It does make it less of a commitment to have to do things. But at the same time, we certainly don't want to, forget the physical aspect of.
No, not at all. We just don't have an online presence right now. So that's, we
Yeah.
do have the capability for physical.
Yep.
And I think for the most part, people know that, and people are coming in. Even there was a gentleman that came in there just the other day just to have coffee and read his newspaper.
Yeah. Great.
And that was great. It was just one
Yeah.
person, but it was nice to have somebody just kind of come in and want some quiet and some
Yeah.
space to read.
No, I always thought it would be fun to have like a morning paper thing, with a couple of morning papers, but that becomes a mess very quickly, and you're creating
Yeah.
a lot of garbage.
Well, in the better weather, I'm hoping to have a little cafe there in the summer,
Oh.
pop-up cafe, so that we can have our tables outside. You can come in, we'll have a little cappuccino maker, and you can come in, you make your a cup of coffee, a regular, or you can get fancy and go out and read the paper and have a muffin, fresh muffin. And, that's just something very
That'd be
simple
nice.
and but very, very effective. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
got some good stuff in the works, really, really and truly.
Great. Anything from the friends?
We didn't have our meeting yesterday. I had to attend a memorial service for my aunt who passed away in October.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So we're, thank you. She was 95, and I had a drink yesterday morning. I had a mimosa at 10:30 in the morning in honor of my aunt, who always had a drink.
In the morning?
We could take her out to lunch and it'd be 11:30 and she'd have a drink, she.
Good for her.
So
Well,
we,
good. That gives me hope.
yeah, oh yeah.
Or
In fact,
at least it gives me an excuse.
yes. Anyway, so I had contacted everyone and we're going to meet next Wednesday.
Great.
Because I knew I couldn't be there, yesterday, so.
Great.
So I don't really have anything to report because we didn't meet.
Yeah, right. Okay, good. So the only old business that, I carried on from our hoped for meeting in January was the Amazon Smile thing that we were going to try to do with the poinsettias, sort of advertise the nuts and bolts of it. That for a variety of reasons didn't occur. And how do you guys feel about that? And do we want to promote it? And because I do think in the near, it's not going to change much people's patterns of using Amazon. I know, we talked about it in relation to it being Christmas time and being very, very busy. But I frankly don't see the day-to-day world of Amazon slowing down, particularly in the next few years, maybe forever.
No. Well, I was supposed to be working on that with the friends, and then Brooke Wheeler had given me all of some information that she had. There is some paperwork that is required to be part of that Amazon Smile, even though when you go into Amazon Smile, you can choose Friends of the Roxbury Senior Center, but nothing really happens. There really isn't a connection unless you've done all the paperwork and whatever there is. And then I had my surgery on my knee, so I never really followed up on that.
Right.
But that's something I'm going to bring up to the Friends meeting, see if somebody can help me, maneuver through all of that.
Right. So when you say paperwork, do you mean that you sort of have to register with Amazon Smile as an organization as the first step? Then the second step is to share what you learn there, like what our key number is and all these other things, so that the funds can come to us.
I don't think there's anything as a consumer that you have to do once you get into Amazon Smiles and choose Friends of the Roxbury Senior Center. There's not a code or a password or anything like that. You simply choose it. And as long as the link is there, as long as we've done our part in setting it up, if there becomes a link with Amazon Smiles, and they automatically, every time you purchase something and choose the Friends, it automatically gets connected. But we have to do that part, that piece on our part in order to make that connection.
Right. It might be good when you're in that process to find out from Amazon if they have some recommendation for how you spread the word. In other words, particularly with our community, I think we'd have to sort of explain a little bit what they have to do step by step whenever they make a purchase.
Right.
After one or two times, it'll be automatic if they can remember, but if, I don't remember to take advantage of certain things sometimes when I have the opportunity to. So I think there's probably got to be some sort of step-by-step, easy to do reminder that people have. And then after a period of time, we have to see how we're doing. And if we're not doing much, either people aren't buying much on Amazon or we have to remind them to, take advantage of it, sort of alternate to our to your fundraising. In other words, if we're doing our fundraising in November and December, maybe periodically get the schedule together to send out something in the Amazon Smile folks
Mhm.
to continue to use it. If it's
Yeah.
it would probably create some benefit. It probably won't be tremendous because I'm sure it's just a small percentage of sales, but
It's a small percentage. But I know my
it's still
son.
something. It's something, and it's not. It's easy money that's just sitting there waiting to be taken.
Yep. I mean, even if it's $10, $5, I mean,
Yeah.
I know my son through his business had said to me that he had signed up 3 Amazon Smiles for the friends, and he wanted to know, and he had like $45 that was
Yeah.
going to be deposited, and he wanted to know if we, had set it up. And I think they hold it for you. If I remember correctly, what Brooke had said, they hold that money for like 2 quarters or something. And then we'll put it into your account, the account that was chosen. So it
So
doesn't
you don't have to do something to get it paid to you. They'll automatically give it to you.
They automatically give it to you
Well, that's
once you
good.
have that connection made. And it's like the 3rd quarter of the year or something. Something happened to do with quarters. So you
Yeah.
don't see like, 58 cents put in and whatever. They group it all together and do one deposit.
Yeah.
Can you use that, Virginia, as a credit if you're purchasing supplies or something like that?
If I'm purchasing through Amazon, I mean, I don't
Right.
think there's any kind of a regulation about what you can and can't purchase. I mean, you could purchase shampoo and whatever, whatever piece of that, whatever.
They
percent.
probably encourage it. Excuse me, I've got a
Yeah.
phone ringing here.
Yep. Yeah, so it's easy to accrue the money once we get it set up.
Okay.
And again, like Bill said, we remind people that instead of just going to Amazon, you go to Amazon Smiles. It's the same site. It looks
Right.
exactly the same.
No, what I'm suggesting is that maybe, if you're buying supplies for the friends, can you
Yep.
use that as a credit toward a purchase for, say,
A credit. No, I don't think you use it as
Okay.
a credit. It simply gets deposited into whatever account you
okay.
tell them to deposit it into. No,
Okay.
you can't use it as an offsetting credit, no.
Okay.
But I mean, we all buy stuff from Amazon, so. I
Yeah,
mean, most
exactly.
of us anyway.
Exactly. I mean, some people buy an amazing amount of stuff from Amazon. It's
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
certainly some of it is habits that have been developed over the last 2 years, and as habits are, people tend to
Mhm.
continue with them.
Mhm.
So I would not be surprised if not only has Amazon done well during this period, they'll continue to do well by the methods that people have developed during this period.
Yep.
I'd be curious if any purchases made at Whole Foods can go to a Smile related organization.
I don't know. Don't know about that. But I'll give you an update next
Yeah. Okay.
next
Great.
meeting.
Great. Okay. So it's not a dead issue. We'll just sort of
No,
see
No,
how
it's not.
it goes forward. Great.
it's not dead.
Yep. And then for new business, well, Jen, you might as well tell us about what's going on with the secretary.
Yeah, nobody wants the job. Surprise, surprise. So I spoke with Patrick, and Kim Barron happened to be in the room. And it turns out that hourly wage that is in my budget, is in the ghosts of budgets past, is for the hiring of a secretary to take minutes and do Julie's job. And the breakdown is 40 hours a year at $21.67 an hour. So a portion of that's been used, by Julie, of course. And I spoke with 3 candidates that I thought may want it, and they don't. And so the search continues. So if any of you know anyone who wants to take it, that's what the details are. And I will be reporting to Patrick tomorrow to say that nobody had any interest, and if he wants to post the job, he certainly can. And that's it.
So
Okay.
it's 40 hours per year,
Mhm.
2167.
An hour, yep. That's what
Okay.
it's budgeted for currently.
All right.
Yep,
So it's about $800
something.
a year, something. All right. Well, let's put our thinking caps on. If you have somebody in mind, maybe get a phone number and email address to Jen,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and you could reach out to them. And in the meantime, we'll let the town do their thing.
Yep.
Was there any discussion? Is this something that you're going to have to continue to do until we find someone?
Yeah, it's something that I will continue to do. I mean, there really isn't anybody else who's
Right,
going to
okay.
step in. I mean, nobody really wants to do it, so.
Yeah. Well, which is, I'm just a little, I guess, because Julie was able to do 4 or 5 boards, it was probably worthwhile to pick up the 20 hours a month as a very small part-time job. But with a new, once you get another position and you just don't have the time to do it, an effective, a person who'd be into it that is retired, or a person who's into it that would be young who wants to pick up some extra bucks and just is
Mhm.
Yeah.
that kind of person will be our candidate. So let's plug on, and we at least we have the support of knowing that that we should hire. I had hoped that we wouldn't have to go past the 3 that Jen had in mind, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
So let's keep our own eyes, and Tori, I think you had mentioned a person who was a lawyer that might want to be involved in some things. I think at this point, now that we know what the terms are and so forth, you can certainly ask them. And it's not much money. It's just a matter of if they would find it interesting, but at least it wouldn't be bringing a person on the board as a volunteer and asking him to do that.
Well, I'll check. I don't have a lot for it, but
Yeah. I just think we should just. I mean, there's a young person I work with who I believe might even live in Roxbury, who might be interested in this, but
okay.
she might not. But I'll bring it up to I mean, let's take a stab at it.
Yeah.
I kind of have an idea of what she earns, and this wouldn't be inconsistent to probably her hourly rate anyway. And she's the kind of person that might find it interesting to insert themselves into some role in town government, because that is what it is. So, I think we just got to cast about and see what we can find. Let's see. The other item was COVID-21. It's supposed to be 22, but it's COVID-21, 2011. And
I am the worst secretary.
we're in a lot better place than we were in November.
Yeah,
Certainly. The state numbers, have fallen precipitously, although, last year at this time, or last year in certainly May, we would have been like, 8%.
yeah.
But it has fallen so fast in 2 weeks, which is not surprising.
Yeah, it
2
was
weeks
six,
after, 2 weeks after the Christmas, New Year's holiday.
Yep.
And we'll see this again next year.
So town hall is unmasked.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
yeah, the rate was 6.5 today, the positivity rate.
So I will assume from that people will be asking about the
Yeah.
senior center. So I would like to know where you guys stand in terms of masks and mask policy and mask mandates.
Well, if the town hall is unmasking, then that's a positive sign.
Yeah. I mean, the question is, at the town hall is pretty passive, right?
Mhm.
And they're also not almost exclusively the highest affected age group. So, I mean, it's a little different than town hall. Although lots of different people come in the town hall. You know, I don't know. I think that, I know people are really tired of this
Mhm.
and would really rather not be masking. At the same time, I know when people are exercising and so forth, they're spewing out a lot of stuff.
We haven't been wearing masks for when we're in our spot for exercising.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you have distance, you've set up distance.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
everybody's
you know,
been
I
fine with it.
guess my feeling on it is if we follow some of the other sort of wise things to do, like maybe, we don't have, particularly in being in the winter, heat on, we don't have a lot of ventilation. If we did something like crack some windows, got a little ventilation, not a lot, but just relief of the air that's in the place.
Mhm.
Maybe masking is not, it's certainly if people want to wear masks, they can wear masks.
Yeah,
Yep.
Do
I think
we
it's-
as a group want to continue to make it a requirement? Or the other thing is we can just wait until next month.
I think we can make it your choice. It's not a mandate, but if you want to wear a mask, then fine.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
no, that'll mean that, yeah, yes, I think
But you
that,
don't have to wear a mask.
right. So we're basically saying masks are no longer required,
Right.
period.
Make
Right.
it optional. Just make it
Yeah.
optional.
Is everybody comfortable with that?
I am.
I am, because if you
I
want
think
to
it
wear a
makes sense.
mask, I mean, I wear a mask in the store when I grocery shop, even though I don't have to. I do. So if someone is more comfortable wearing a mask when they're in the building, they will.
Yeah, right.
But I think
I mean-
I think we're at the point it should be optional.
Yeah, I mean, remember though, and I don't disagree with the idea that it should be optional. But remember, my wearing a mask only protects other people.
Mhm.
Doesn't protect me.
Mhm.
So that a person who chooses to wear a mask, they get some benefit, but it's
Yeah.
not nearly as much as, when everyone wears a mask.
Right.
That said, frankly, some medical information that I've come across through school essentially has said that at this point, things like what were they doing? Tracking people, tracking contacts, things like that. That's out of the question. This form of the disease is so prevalent that it's really the luck of the draw if you don't get it. I've had it. I know a lot of people that have had it. It isn't pleasant. If you're 85 years old, I think it might not be pleasant at all.
Mhm.
It wasn't terrible, but it was like a bad case of the flu for a couple of days. And it was like for the beginning of it, it was kind of like, gee, this is really bad. Like I was dripping uncontrollably from my nose. My chest was burning, and it went away in 18 hours.
Huh.
But I've been vaccinated 3 times.
Mhm.
So, the question is really, do we say it's optional if you are vaccinated? And if you are not vaccinated, you have to wear a mask,
Yeah, pre-Omicron.
Because I will say that, I'm 68. Somebody who's 20 years older than me, 15 years older than me, maybe with some kind of condition, it might be tougher than what they're making it out to be.
Mhm.
Or than the whole general public gets. And that's part of that is there are members of our community that are in that
Yes.
band of people.
Sure.
So, I think maybe if we're gonna have a sign at the door, we'll say it's kind of like, I think it was what we had actually been doing earlier, was that if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask.
Mhm.
If you aren't vaccinated, please wear a mask, especially if you don't feel well today or something, because that's the thing,
Well,
I think
when
they say when you don't feel well, you've already passed the point where you spread
Yeah,
it.
you should be staying home
You
if
shouldn't
you
be
don't
coming to
feel
the center if you don't feel well.
well. Exactly.
Right.
So on the My Senior Center app, when a person goes to log in, it's automatically going to come up with a message that says, by clicking OK, you attest to the fact that you are symptom-free, you have no fever, and you're feeling well. Boom, and they hit OK.
Great.
So, so if they do happen to get sick, one, according to, it takes the onus off of the senior center, and
Right.
it's just,
I mean, provided that they are, electronically savvy, that they actually use this
this
stuff.
is, I mean, if you've used one of those key fobs at the grocery store, it's the same thing.
Well, is like when you walk into the senior center, you use the fob?
Yep, you just go
And there's a
beep.
printout, there's a
Yep.
screen that says all this stuff?
Yep, the
Oh,
first
okay, great.
it will say that, you hit OK, and then it'll say like, hello, Bill, and all of the programs that are available that day will be
Great.
on the screen, and you just tap which ones and hit end, and
Great.
that's it.
Great. So, I personally am okay with the idea of, vaccinated people not wearing a mask, fully vaccinated, obviously, and boosted, or whatever the term is right now that we're using for fully vaccinated. And, otherwise, wear a mask, or, check my senior center.
I'm okay with that. Jen, do you know what the trend is at other centers?
I don't. I know that a lot of senior centers were closed until January 18th. They weren't even going to reopen or discuss any in-person programming. Now, we've been doing in-person the entire time. So we were one of, I think, 6 that had continued to do in-person programming. We were smart about our mask mandate.
Yeah.
And, we were smart about our social distancing. And I think that was effective. And I think that moving forward, if, as long as we, remain the same, then I think that it doesn't matter what the others are doing. I think what we're doing is very effective. And
Great.
yeah, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we could also just say, you know what, if you're vaccinated, no mask. If you're not, please wear a mask. And then let's review it in March. There's no like speed thing that we have to deal with here.
Yeah.
And we review it in
And,
March, and if
we'll
the
see,
numbers are really
just like-
down and all that stuff, we say, you know what, everybody can come without a mask.
Yep.
Because really the mask,
I agree with
mask
that.
is
I think-
very effective, particularly for people that don't want to have the shot. And, some people have all different reasons for not wanting to have a shot. And that's, we're done arguing about that.
Yeah.
But they should be willing to wear a mask if they want to take advantage of our stuff. Because as you say, we got on it early. We didn't have any cases. I mean, I don't know if we didn't have any cases. I'm sure we must have had some members that had cases of COVID in the last 2 months, but
None that had come into the center though.
yeah, no, but I'm sure some people have experienced it.
Yeah.
But because of those things that we, if they came in, they were wearing a mask. If they didn't know they had it yet, So I mean, it as you say, we didn't have any outbreak at our center, and things seemed to just be able to go well, even when 25% of the population in the state was getting it.
Mhm.
And how does
So-
the board feel about having food indoors and congregate meals as it applies to
Yeah.
COVID-19?
I don't know. I'm a little unsure of that yet.
Mhm.
I personally, I think we should wait until the spring,
Mhm.
when you can open windows and when you can perhaps be outside. Because we're not starting till April 1st with soups on.
Correct. We are doing
Um,
that in a movie though, and we are allowing
Oh,
people
yeah.
to come in, but that is of course limited in number and very socially distant. So,
mhm.
Yeah, I do think there's a couple of things. First of all, the people that are required to cook it are volunteers, have to be comfortable,
Mhm.
or the food doesn't get put out.
Yeah.
Then, certainly the crowd that comes in is important to us. But if the first responsibility isn't met, then the second thing doesn't happen. So I really think we've got to have the friends talk about it and see what they're comfortable with and see if they're willing to commit to April 1st so that their stuff can happen. And then what you're saying, like the movies and the pizza, that's not being prepared in our place.
No.
And it's something that people basically just take to their seat and can eat, and that's it.
Yep. They're in the dining room and then go upstairs and watch a movie.
Right.
Yeah, and then that's a nice little thing to have, the pizza and the
Yes.
movie. Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah.
And how
You
many
know,
people?
I was thinking of more like, for the 17th next month, do we do something in-house or do we do it to go, or do we just, where, maybe we do a trip and you can go have a corned beef and a cabbage dinner somewhere else.
You mean in March 17th?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
St. Patrick's, yeah.
St. Patrick's Day.
I think we're certainly going to have a meeting between now and then, and I would say, if people want to do that and will wear their masks and follow the rules that we've established on the bus and so forth, because I do think the bus it needs to be, until we are into the time of year where we can really let some air through it, because it is such a small
Mhm.
area. We probably have to keep people with masks on there. But if they wear masks and then go to the restaurant and, be like whatever let the restaurant be what guides us.
Yeah.
That
Well,
point.
and there's a lot of fun places for St. Patrick's Day to go to.
Yeah.
Cheese
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. But, it does seem to be filled with Irish type people yelling and screaming. So, there may be a risk involved, but I personally think by that time,
Yeah.
we'll probably be in an even better place
Mhm.
than COVID. 6 months
think
from
it would
now,
be-
let's say, but
It would be fun to go somewhere and have the corned beef and cabbage, as a group.
Yeah.
Well,
Jared, I'm thinking of Molly Darcy's.
Oh,
What is
yeah.
that? Oh,
yeah.
would that be
Okay.
like an evening thing?
No, day
Day.
program.
In
Yeah.
Danbury, too?
Yeah.
Well, again, I think you make Molly Darcy thing give you a little bit of, don't put everybody cheek to jowl, things like that. But, at that point, I think we'll probably be in a much better place.
Yeah.
mhm.
No, I think a trip out would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We've got to balance
Yeah.
what we think people really do want. I mean, at the end of the day, we want people to enjoy what they can.
Mhm.
And, I think when we talk about the building, that's one thing. We talk about leaving the building, that's another thing. We don't control the buildings they go to. We just have to be cautious. We just have to be not cautious, but we have to be wise in the way that we ask our people to conduct themselves. That's all.
Mhm.
Is that something, Jen, that if the bus is filled, that people could go on their own and join in?
Yep, they would just have to sign up because I'd have to let them know.
Yeah.
And if it's
I'd say-
popular
I'd say
enough,
go for that.
maybe Mary Ann can drive the minivan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I say we go for that. I say let's try to ease into normal.
Mhm.
I still think the building itself, we've just got to be a little bit more cautious than when we're outside of the building, because that's on us, and that's on that's again, we're in that population that there might be might be a less forgiving circumstance if we're not careful. I think again, if you're vaccinated, you can be unmasked. I think we still, for exercises, you do your social distancing as you have been. If we're, if you're doing food, again, spread people out a little bit, maybe a few less chairs available for people, because you're not going to be overflowed with people anyway. At least for the next month, and then we see how we are in March, and then we become less restrictive, each of the following months until we feel like we're out of it. I think that's my opinion, but Anybody
I
agree? or
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
No, I
and
think
Jen,
I think that sounds good.
when we go on the bus to wherever, is it still going to be only people who are vaccinated would be allowed on the bus? Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that actually supports the idea of that same protocol happening in the building. You know, if
Mhm.
we're making people wear masks on the bus, we should certainly have the option to do that for the non-vaccinated in the building.
You know, and when you're in the building, you have your own kind of space, but when you're on the bus, I mean, you are
Yeah,
right.
yeah, right.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think just to be prudent, I mean, and
Yes.
that may never change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I
We'll
was
try to
just-
make this trip short.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we've been prudent thus far. I think we did get a little in front of it. Just the fact that all these other senior centers are closed and we stayed open, is a sign of that. And is a sign that what we did kept people engaged and made them comfortable, which is part of the trick here. I think it's not just a matter of what the medical information is at the time, it's also what do people feel comfortable about.
Yep.
So great. Okay, so I don't think we have to vote on that or anything. We're just kind of rolling back
Yeah.
to a place
Where we
where we were not long ago.
And I just wanted to add to that, if anybody needs a test or feels like they might have been exposed and wants to test, have them get in contact with me.
Okay, that's good to know.
Now, is that something that's running through Geraldine or is that something that's running through the senior center?
Running through me, the senior center,
Okay.
yeah.
Great.
And they absolutely can contact her as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Good. All right.
Thank you.
Let's see. Do we have any other business that we want to talk about? Anything new? Any
Not me.
Not really.
unusual moments? Or
Unusual.
all right. Then that aside, I think we're slowly making our way back to normal, which is great. I think people are very anxious to feel something that has to do with normal. And Jen, I know you're working hard with programs that will be we'll be doing more than what used to be normal for us, which is great.
Mhm.
And so I think although it might be a little early to say it feels like we at least for the next period, 6-8, I hope, months, we won't be worrying about a bad bug going around. And I do think that as when next year comes around, maybe we should get in front of the flu shots early, do our thing with that, just to keep that sort of at top of mind for people, whether that's October, November, or whenever in the early part of that season. And then we'll just see what we're hearing in terms of if there's going to be another round of boosters or any of those things that people will need to, it'll have some impact on some of the messaging that we do. But I do think regardless of anything, flu vaccines will continue to be an important component for our audience.
Yep, definitely.
So would anyone like to move for adjournment?
I'll do it.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Wait a minute, for a minute there, I thought there was something going on.
We're all waiting for each other.
Yeah,
No, I
I'll
thought
make
it
a
was,
motion to
well,
adjourn.
actually, We
Yeah,
didn't
let's
beat
sit
this
here a
dead horse
while
by
longer.
This is
Yeah.
good. This is like an hour. This is perfection.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yes, that's a great thing if we
All right,
can-
I'll second Tori.
okay.
Wonderful. All right, in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good. It passes unanimously, as usual. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. I think that was very good. It was even though a bumpy start, I think we're moving forward well, and we'll get smoother as we go along. Let's remember about good candidates for secretary.
Yeah.
You know, if we can make that happen, that would just be a nice next step. All right.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
again, thanks everyone, and stay safe and play hard.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Have a
everybody.
good night.